A four-ship server alliance united by the Burning Blade, an alliance taken down by mistrust, and an Athena keg that should have been exploded way earlier than it was, resulting in a brutal betrayal. Every day, thousands of crews set sail on the Sea of Thieves, and this is just one crew's story. Welcome to this week's Stories from the Sea of Thieves. The new Burning Blade World event for Season 13 has torn apart plenty of servers in a large game of cat and mouse, where the Burning Blade is the cat and all pirates who have failed to seize control of it are the mouse. By the time I met the brigantine crew of Edmund Fitzgerald, they had successfully taken down the Burning Blade, the ship, and now had on their ship the Burning Blade, the sword. Make sense? Allied with two other sloops surrounding it, the fleet did a brief victory lap before the brigantine went to sail at Plunder Outpost. They had just experienced some major excitement in taking down the Burning Blade event together, but all three ships sort of just sat around and asked themselves, what's next? The crew of Edmund Fitzgerald, though, was not willing to wait to decide. They knew that adventure was out there. The crew was made up of three pirates of equal parts, no true captain amongst them, but all three brought something unique to the table. Quickshot Sean rocked the new Obsidian Skeleton Curse and was the sort of pirate whose mere presence on your crew made you feel protected from anything. Burned Harry was also a part of the crew, a man of mystery whose personality can be summed up by this moment where he jumped off the ship onto a passing island to not participate in, but merely watch a showdown between an ocean crawler and a skeleton captain. My money's on the ocean crawler. The final member of the crew was Old Good Looks, the most unconventionally handsome pirate on the seas. He enjoyed activities like staring at waves for hours on end. Together, they had taken down the Burning Blade, and now they were on to their next adventure, which, after much deliberation, was decided on going to pick up the Reaper's chest in the Devil's Roar. The sail over to the Reaper's chest was beautiful, and gave a good opportunity to get more familiar with the crew. Old Good Looks had a funny walk to him. He'd often meander aimlessly on the ship, slow stepping around. It was like he was living his life permanently 5 grogs deep. Burned Harry, in the meantime, was sending himself launching at Morrow's Peak Outpost. Check out that form. You see, Burned Harry had dreamed of becoming fire himself one day. He felt his destiny would only be achieved when fire and him became one. A weird dream, but one that kinda makes sense for someone named Burned Harry. Old Good Looks was a shanty lover, but more specifically, he loved only the first 5 seconds of shanties. The first 5 seconds of We Shall Sail Together really hits. After he serenaded the crew, he decided to go fishing, which was just a little bit horrific for me, as someone who's part Ruby Splashtail. Seeing Old Good Looks fishing up a Ruby Splashtail, cooking it in front of me, and then, worst of all, insisting I eat it. I'm sorry to my people, I have let you down. Finally, the crew of Edmund Fitzgerald arrived at the shipwreck that contained the Reaper's chest. Just as we arrived, though, a nearby volcano began to erupt. Burned Harry insisted we were too far away from it, though, to cause any real harm. Getting slapped by a massive volcanic rock was the closest Burned Harry had ever gotten to becoming one with fire. As the crew dove down to the shipwreck to retrieve various trinkets and loot items, the volcanic rocks falling from the sky added a nice element of suspense. But sure enough, the crew managed to escape the threat of the volcano with their Reaper's chests and miscellaneous treasures secured. As they continued to sail around, our alliance of 4 ships slowly dwindled to just the Edmund Fitzgerald and my ship, the Scaly Cape. However, even the alliance that existed between our 2 ships was not going to last much longer. Shortly after picking up the Reaper's chest, a Fort of Fortune popped, which led to the crew having to make a big decision. Go sell the Reaper's chest, which they just sailed all the way to the Devil's Roar to retrieve, or do the Fort of Fortune? Without a moment's notice, Quickshot Sean did the unexpected and made the choice for the crew. He threw the Reaper's chest overboard. A bold decision, rendering their trip to the Devil's Roar completely useless. They were now locked in on the Fort of Fortune. Burned Harry and Quickshot Sean were resting, but the ship was now approaching the Fort of Fortune, and while I was grabbing a quick banana from the food barrels, Burned Harry tossed the firebomb into the hull of their ship, seemingly causing him to disappear. This was the last anyone would ever see of Burned Harry. I can only assume in this moment, Burned Harry had found a way to successfully become fire itself. Good for him. This left Quickshot Sean and Old Good Looks to pick up the pieces, get the boat in a good spot, and get going on this Fort of Fortune. Things were going fantastically well for them as they eliminated not just the skellies, but took time to blow up any kegs they found to prevent any pirates from coming along and doing a keg play. What I didn't realize is that the reason they were blowing up the kegs wasn't because they were worried about other pirates. They were worried about me. Why?
No witnesses.
What?
I know what you was trying to do, bro. You ain't stealing this Come on now.
Quickshot Sean was unfortunately very wrong about my intentions, but hey, as we would all soon be reminded, this is a pirate game. Upon respawning, the Alliance was disbanded. At this point, I wasn't sure if going back would even be worth it, as I assumed they'd just try to kill me again. I felt though I had to do my due diligence to try and find out how this crew's story would end. So I sailed back, and when I got close to the fort, the ship sailed off. At first I thought it was running away from me, but then their ship smashed into a rock, which is when I saw they had put their Alliance offer flag back up. They were wanting to re-ally. I accepted and assumed it was a trap, also noticing that when the brig came back to the fort, it rammed into the island. Things were really off. When it came to completing the fort this time, it was just Old Good Looks working on it. I figured and fully anticipated Quickshot Sean was tucked away somewhere on my ship or hiding with a keg, waiting to come out and kill me just as the fort was finished to ensure I got nowhere near the treasure. But the further that we got into the fort, and especially upon the opening of the vault, and Old Good Looks making the decision to not destroy the kegs, it was clear in the time between him killing me and me getting back to the Fort of Fortune, Quickshot Sean must have disconnected, meaning our quiet, music-loving, tumbling pal, Old Good Looks, was the only one left to claim the entire Fort of Fortune for himself. It was gonna take him a while though to move everything, which is why he also generously offered for me to take some for myself, which I obviously declined. In the long process of moving the loot though, a surprising sound was heard. The sound of a ship joining the Alliance. But with the heavy fog, there was no ship in sight. Then, there it was, the Grade 1 Athena sloop. With no bonds built and no real incentive given to this new crew to hold true to their alliance, the ultimate betrayal was for sure coming.
How's it going? I was just... What's up? Oh, I love your skin. Oh, that looks awesome. Are y'all keeping these kegs?
Even with the Athena keg gone off, Old Good Looks hadn't lost this yet, but things were looking rough. In these moments, I reflected on the journey thus far. Allies had come and gone for Old Good Looks, but at the end of the day, even with an Alliance flag, trusting others is a very difficult thing to do in Sea of Thieves. And unfortunately for Old Good Looks, due to what happened here today, he felt it'd be a long time before he forms an alliance with any other ships again.